Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This time we're going to be talking about how to draw a fantasy portrait for your character. When you create a character, be it for D&D or sometimes for any other game that you're playing, or just a character that you have in general, sometimes you might want to draw a portrait of them. And we're going to be going over how to go about it, or at least how I usually go about it. So let's start by getting some reference. Now, you're going to draw a portrait, you're going to focus mostly on the face, right? That doesn't mean that you can't show a little bit more of the body, but the face is always a big focus. So I recommend going to some websites. For example, I always like to use Unsplash for references and just write portrait on the search bar and you're going to have immediately a lot of photos of portraits. So you'll see that a lot of them are from the front, sometimes a bit three-quarter. A three-quarter view is always very interesting because it shows a bit of asymmetry and shows a little bit of movement, so it always works very well. But there's a lot of things that you can do, and it's totally up to you and what kind of character you're going to be drawing. So do look for some references to help you out. You might get some ideas from it, from photographs. Another option is to look for RPG games like Baldur's Gate. They are very known for the portraits that you choose for your character. You can choose a portrait for your character at the beginning. There's portraits for the characters that you meet along the game. Another example is, for example, Pillars of Eternity. It's the same thing, but as you can see, a bit of a different style, also much more recent than Baldur's Gate. But do look for the games that you like, so they can give you some inspiration on how you can draw your characters. As you can see here, most of these are done in the three-quarter view minus this one, and as you can see, it's very interesting. They choose a front view for this one, but he does have a bit of a different expression than all the others, right? All the others are a bit more neutral, they don't have a lot of expression on their faces. However, this one has a bit more of a bold expression, so using a frontal view for this one can be a bit more interesting. So if you want to express or draw a specific emotion and that you want the character to be looking directly into the viewer, then maybe a front view will be a better idea for your portrait. So it all depends on what you want to draw. If you want to draw a very simple emotion to them, just standing to the picture, you know, then a three-quarter view is perfect. Just one more example here, we have Divinity Original Sin, one of my favorite games, and they do have, although these are in 3D here, they do also have some portraits that you can take inspiration from. Again, as you can see, these are basically avatars, an avatar of your character, so you only see the head. It's another example from, for example, Pillars of Eternity. You always have a bit of the torso showing up, but here it's just the head. So you see there's a lot of possibilities here when drawing a portrait of your character. Now, my next tip is to focus on particular details of your character. So, does your character have an interesting haircut? Then make sure to catch a nice angle of it so you can see it well, you and whoever is looking at it. So for example, I have here Jean, one of my D&D characters. She's a wizard, and I think that one of her, let's go for two here. Two of her main traits are the freckles and the hair. So I do want a view that will show that off. So for example, I might not want a side view of her because you can see a lot of the freckles and the hair will not be posed in such an interesting way. So I might want to go just for a frontal view, because since she's very smiley, she has a very big smile, or if I want to make it just a little bit more interesting, a three-quarter view. So once you decide on these things, it's time to go and experiment. So before going for a final drawing, thumbnail it first. Do several versions and pick the best and develop it. This is something I actually tend to skip a little bit, but you should thumbnail everything you want to draw, because your first idea might not be the best idea, so it's important to explore all the possibilities so you can have the best drawing you want. Try out different ideas. Now, these thumbnails don't need to be super detailed. As you can see, you just need to draw a square or a rectangle and then draw your character in it. It's very simple. You don't even need to add any kind of detail of the outfit or something, but maybe those traits that we talked about that are specific for them. So for example, I have here the hair. The hair is important. I have to show off the hair. So these thumbnails can be as detailed or as simple as you want. These are just sketches, so don't worry too much about them. These are just for you to have an idea of how you want your character to be drawn and explore all the possibilities. Another thing to have into account when drawing these thumbnails and drawing your fantasy portrait is think about the size or what you're using the portrait for. For example, you might want it as an avatar pic for your character sheet, which I think it's what I'm going for right here. I like this one. I want to update my character sheet with a new avatar, something that shows Jean a little bit better. However, you might want to just draw your character in a portrait, but only for illustration purposes, for example, to post on Instagram or on Twitter and to show it to other people. In that case, you can go for something a little bit bigger and where you can see a little bit more of the body, like for example this one here. I really like this one, and this could be an illustration of a portrait, almost like a painting that I can hang on the wall, right? So you have a little bit more of the body, you have the face, you have the hair. So these things will fit better in just a big illustration that I want to post somewhere. For an avatar, I would prefer to focus on the face. Now for my next tip, it is colors. Colors will matter, and you want to choose the right colors to express the right mood, or what colors do fit better your character. So even on thumbnail phase or when you have your final sketch, try out different combination of colors. Depending on the mood, you'll want different colors. For example, if your character is a bit more serious, you might want to go for neutral colors, maybe even the black and white like this, if you want something a little bit more serene. If your character has some kind of affinity with an element, for example, so I have here this character of mine, she's a moon queen, so I want to use colder colors like the blues. As you can see, there's nothing but blues and maybe even the whites here, so it has a bit of a colder mood, right? On the other hand, we have here my sun queen, which has a very opposite color scheme to my moon queen. So here all I want to use is warmer tones and golds, right? All you can see here is the yellows, the browns, everything about it is warm. So depending on your character personalities or even the setting they're in, you're going to be using a bit of different colors depending on that. Also, another thing is, for example, if your character is a very vibrant character, then use vibrant colors. It all depends on your character's personality and what kind of setting they live in. Or maybe sometimes not even, maybe Jean actually lives in a war zone, but she's still a character that will try to stay happy whatever the situation is, so I still want her to use very vibrant colors. So always try to fit the colors to your character's personality. Alright, so for my next and last tip on how to draw a fantasy portrait is, why not pick an illustration that you already have of your character and redraw it. So for example, I have here this one, and again I want to draw, we talked about that I wanted to draw an avatar of Jean, right? So, and I want maybe to draw her in a 3/4 view, so why don't I pick this one up and make a redraw of it, but focusing only on the face or the head. This way you can focus more on the details and change where your character is looking and just have fun with it. Also, this might make it a little bit easier because you're picking something that you already did, so half of the work is already done. You just have to pick it up and now maybe zoom in into the face or a bit of the torso and face and focus on those details there. So if you're not sure how to go about it, if you're a bit scared to go in blind and just draw random thumbnails, then pick an older drawing you have of your characters, redraw it, but focus on the face. Focus for it to be a portrait. So overall, find references, find inspiration, experiment with it, and of course, as always, have fun with it. So I hope this was helpful for you and that you start right now drawing some portraits of your fantasy or D&D characters. If you do, feel free to tag me on your drawings, for example, on Instagram at ARTBYDONCORGI, so I can see them. I love seeing new characters, so don't be afraid to tag me in those so I can see, comment and share something. And of course, if you like this video, like and subscribe for more, and as always, keep on drawing.